Jihoon pushed his coffee cup toward the center of the round table at Cafe Mama's in Myeongdong. Across from him, Min-seo flipped through a worn guidebook to New York City, as Sang-woo, perched on a high stool, traced the skyline illustration with his finger. "Can you believe we're really doing this?" Jihoon asked, eyes shining. "In 2 months, we'll be standing under the Brooklyn Bridge." Min-seo closed the book with a decisive snap. "I've been budgeting down to the last one. Every cup of coffee I skipped this month went into our travel fund." She winked at Sang-woo. "And you said you'd handle the itinerary." Sang-woo grinned. "Don't worry. I've mapped out every block of Manhattan from Central Park to Wall Street. We're hitting it all. Art museums, jazz clubs, that famous pizza place in Brooklyn, and maybe one day in the vineyards north of the city." Jihoon laughed. "Brooklyn pizza first, vineyards later. Priorities." 2 months later, the trio found themselves aboard Korean Air Flight 621, watching the coastline of Japan recede into the clouds. Tired from a sleepless night packing and checking backpacks 3 times, their excitement was tempered by nerves. Min-seo pressed her earphones in. "I downloaded an audiobook version of The Great Gatsby. It feels right, New York in the Jazz Age, but we're in real time." Sang-woo tapped his screen. "Subway maps, restaurant reviews, Broadway ticket apps. I even found a food vlog by a fellow Korean who tours the best dollar slice spots." Jihoon reclined. "You're turning this into a business trip. I'm just here to see the lights of Times Square in person." The flight attendant's voice crackled over the intercom. "We'll be beginning our descent into New York in approximately 30 minutes. We hope you enjoy your stay." Min-seo clasped Jihoon's arm. 30 minutes until reality. They breezed through JFK's automated passport control and emerged into the cavernous arrival hall, bleary-eyed but electrified by the buzz of travelers from every corner of the globe. The air smelled of coffee and the faint tang of city traffic. "Okay," Jihoon said, hefting his backpack. "First mission, MetroCard. Second, coffee. Third, hostel." They followed Sang-woo's directions to the AirTran, then to the E-train into Manhattan. As the subway rattled and swayed, Min-seo pressed her forehead to the window. "It's so loud," she murmured, "but I kind of love it." "Welcome to New York," Sang-woo said, nudging her. "Chaos and charm in a single train car." Passing through Lower East Side, the graffiti-peppered walls and fragrant street carts made Min-seo's eyes widen. Jihoon counted each station, ready to leap off at Canal Street. By late afternoon they reached their hostel in Greenwich Village, a converted brownstone with narrow stairs and bunk beds. After dumping their bags, they stepped out into the orange glow of sunset spilling over cobblestone streets. "Jazz bar," Sang-woo suggested, already heading east. "It's only 5 o'clock, Jihoon protested. "But, okay, why not?" They slipped into a small brick-walled club where a trio on stage coaxed warm saxophone notes through the dim light. Min-seo sipped her Americano, nodding along to the beat. Jihoon tapped his foot, and Sang-woo closed his eyes, letting the music wash over him. When the set ended, they spilled out onto Bleecker Street, music still ringing in their ears. "Tonight's going to be amazing," Mincio said, glancing at the glowing neon signs. "I can almost taste the pizza." The next morning, dawn found them in Central Park. A jogger in neon streaked past Ji-hoon as Sang-woo and Mincio stood by Bow Bridge, smartphone in hand. "I want to rent a rowboat," Mincio declared. "Let's pretend we're in a period film." Ji-hoon laughed. "I can swim. If you both tip us, I'll save us from drowning." They rented the boat for 20 minutes and drifted under the bridge, watching joggers and dogwalkers trace winding paths. The reflections of skyscrapers rippled alongside them, and for a moment the three friends floated in silent wonder. By midday, they alighted at the Metropolitan Museum's marble steps. Sang-woo insisted on passing the gift shop first to buy postcards, then guided them through galleries of ancient Egypt and European masters. Mincio paused before Van Gogh's Starry Night. "Incredible that someone painted this with his own hands," she whispered. "In his village in France." Ji-hoon studied a sculpture. "Think about the stories behind each piece. Like us, they traveled, just in different ways." They debated which exhibit to see next, Impressionism or the modern wing, before settling on both. In the cafe, they shared a slice of New York cheesecake, rich and creamy. "Worth every calorie," Sang-woo announced, licking crumbs from his fingers. Late afternoon brought them to Times Square's neon vortex. Giant screens flickered advertisements for musicals and soda brands. Tourists in oversized souvenir hats jostled past costumed characters. Mincio tugged at Ji-hoon's sleeve. "Look, the naked cowboy." Ji-hoon rolled his eyes. "He's fully clothed, Mincio. But his guitar is, well, yes." They posed for pictures, dodging traffic, then ducked into a halal cart for chicken and rice platters. The hot sauce dripped down Sang-woo's chin. "Oh," he muttered between bites. "This is 100% New York right here." Mincio pulled out her camera. "Document everything." Over lunch, they discussed tickets for a Broadway show. Hamilton was sold out for days, but The Lion King had seats tomorrow night. "I've never seen a Broadway show," Ji-hoon admitted. "This might be my chance." Sang-woo scrolled his phone. 3 front balcony seats for $95 each. "Should we?" Mincio nodded. "Yes, let's splurge." That evening they strolled over the pedestrian walkway of the Brooklyn Bridge, the skyline ablaze behind them. Under a sky streaked with clouds, they paused halfway to stare at Lower Manhattan's gleaming towers reflected in the East River. "Imagine living there," Ji-hoon said. "Working in a glass box 20 floors up." Mincio leaned on the railing. "I feel alive. Free." Sang-woo pulled out 3 shipping tags. "To commemorate our trip, I made these keychains. Brooklyn Bridge, Central Park, Statue of Liberty. For our backpacks." Ji-hoon opened his palm to reveal a silver bridge silhouette. "Perfect." They laughed as the wind tugged at their scarves, and they leaned into the cold, savoring the moment. The next day, Staten Island ferry tickets were free. They boarded just before sunrise, the deck cold and misty. Mincio trembled. I didn't think it would be this chilly, she said, wrapping her arms around herself. Ji-hoon shrugged off his jacket. Here, wear mine for now. She wrapped it around her shoulders, grateful. As the boat cleared Battery Park, the Statue of Liberty emerged from the fog, its torch a beacon in the gray light. They stood arm in arm, three tiny figures against the colossal monument. Sang-woo whispered, "That right there is freedom." Min-seo felt tears prick her eyes. And hope. Their final day arrived too quickly. They had brunch at a Korean-Mexican fusion spot in Queens, kimchi tacos and bulgogi burritos, and laughed at the culinary mashup. Then they made one last pilgrimage to the High Line, the elevated park built on a former railway. Wildflowers peeked through metal grates, and tourists snapped photos of graffiti art sculptures. Ji-hoon sat on a bench overlooking the Hudson. "I thought I'd miss home so much. But this feels like home too." Min-seo nodded. "There's beauty in every corner, even in the unexpected." Sang-woo strolled to the edge. "We came to see New York, but we also came to see ourselves. We're braver now." They stayed until dusk, letting the city lights blur into a golden haze. Then they returned to the hostel, packed their bags, and shared a final cup of instant coffee brewed in the common room. On the flight home, Min-seo dozed against the window, headphones dangling. Ji-hoon flipped through the postcards Sang-woo had mailed from Times Square. Sang-woo scribbled in a small notebook. "I'm going to write about this trip," he said softly. "Turn it into an article." Ji-hoon smiled. "Publish it. I want others to feel what we felt." Min-seo stretched and yawned. "I'll illustrate it with photos." The Airbus lifted into the sky, and as the lights of New York shrank beneath them, the three friends pressed their foreheads together, eyes closed and full of memories. Ji-hoon whispered, "To New York until next time." Min-seo and Sang-woo echoed softly, "Until next time." Outside the window, the city whispered goodbye, all its promise packed into tiny glints of light. And for Ji-hoon, Min-seo, and Sang-woo, travelers from South Korea, the world had grown immeasurably larger, richer, and more wondrous than they had ever imagined.